News. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. And as always, it's so great to have you in our company. I'm sure many of you are enjoying those cooler temperatures on the outside, but to tell us how long we have before those temperatures go away, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. Well, those temperatures will start warming up tomorrow, but it will be short-lived. We'll tell you why that will happen later in the newscast, so stay tuned. But outside of our studios, we're under partly cloudy skies. The temperature at 63 degrees, relative humidity at 93%. The winds are near calm. They're out of the north at 1 mile per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,019.4 millibars. That's 30.10 inches, and it is steady. Your temperatures around the islands this morning: Marsh Harbor at 71, 72 in Green, Torquay, Freeport also at 72 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 72 Allenstown, Bimini, 73. In Harper Island, 72. Rock Island, Eleuthera, 72. Alderstown, Cat Island at 73 degrees. In Staniel Key, 72. And that extends into Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador, it is 73. Rim Key, 73 degrees. In Ragged Island, 74. Clarenstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, all at 74. Matthew Town, Inagua, 76 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 75 degrees. And if you're flying out this morning, we'll hear some high and low temperatures you're likely to find in some of your favorite cities.
Come on. Yeah. Gotta do it. Go back to the island, boy. Let's go. Wake up early one morning, kiss my mama goodbye.
And that's going to do it for your travel forecast. Now for your boating forecast for today in the northwestern islands. Southeast winds 12 to 18 knots. Those waves high, they're going to be around 3 to 5 feet over the ocean. The low tide, that takes place at 8:07 tonight with your high tide at 1:51 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, caution flags are up. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. The wave height 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. And that's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, traffic is picking up on our streets, and that's where we find our Desmond Saunders, who is standing by with the Bahamas First Traffic Report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. I don't know if you can see behind me or if you can view on your screen. The streets are busy. A number of persons are making their way to work and school. I'm standing live at Prince Charles Drive, the intersection of Soldier Road. As you know, this is a major thoroughfare where thousands commute daily, a number of persons connecting from north to south, east, and west. Christinia Johnson joining me live this morning. Good morning to you. She's from the Royal Bahamas Traffic Division. Are there some specific areas that motorists should look out for?
Well, this morning we don't have any major road works going on, but at this time I just want drivers to be advised that there is some work that occurred on the Nassau Street area. Yeah, so in that thoroughfare, drivers, you're advised to drive with some extreme caution while you're driving in that area.
You've had a number of incidents overnight that you want to report?
We've had about 20 accidents involving damages, 8 accidents involving minor injury, and 1 hit-and-run accident. At this time, we still had 15 persons who are hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident.
I want to remind you that traffic police are going to be posted at strategic points throughout the capital. You want to be very careful, understand and adhere to the rules of the road. Very, very important. You've had some concerns. Traffic police have had some concerns in this area as well.
Yes, but you know every area presents its own challenges. But as it pertains to this area, we know that this is the wider intersection. So when it comes to persons utilizing the yellow box that is right behind us, you can see in the street, we are advising drivers as much as possible to adhere to 1, the traffic control light, and 2, that yellow box. Once you enter or you're about to enter this intersection, you want to ascertain your way clear before entering that yellow box. If at any point you're caught in that box, that fine ranges from $300 to $500.
A number of persons, I don't mean to cut you off, but a number of persons are still not aware of how to turn on the red light as well.
Yes, you know, we have the new amendment that's put in place for drivers to be allowed to turn left on the lights. So yes, if you're at the intersection, you're going to have to come to a stop. Once you come to a complete stop and you ascertain your way clear, then you're able to proceed.
Let's go over the rules of the road. Very, very important for a number of motorists. motorists to adhere to those rules. I know there have been a number of amendments to our traffic laws, but people still need to understand the rules of the road.
Yes, but you can go online, you can go on the government websites and pull up these different acts and amendments and bring yourself up to date with the information. The act clearly explains exactly how you as a driver are to conduct your activities while on the street.
And before I send it back to you, LaDon, I want to salute all the hardworking police officers. As you're aware, this month, March, is Police Month. Kristen, I know you're going to be busy, but we have to salute all the hardworking police officers who keep the Bahamas safe and sound. Very, very important. And I know you're all excited to get up for the Police Month.
Yes, we are. Many events are about to come up, and I'm excited about the police ball. So, yes, I hope to see you there, too.
I hope to be there. Kristen Johnson, always a pleasure to have you with us, joining us on our traffic report this morning. LaDon, back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Desmond. Now on to our top story this morning. The sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort over in Grand Bahama is being viewed as a major economic investment for that island and the people of Grand Bahama. During the signing with the Bahamas Port Investments Limited and the Grand Lucayan Properties, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, said the decision to temporarily purchase the resort has paid off in employment and business survival, and Monday's sale agreement sets the stage for future economic growth.
3,000 direct and indirect jobs will be created through this investment. And this investment will create additional employment opportunities for Bahamians in construction jobs as well as in operational positions as both the hotel property and the port property. The benefits to Grand Bahama include capital investment, employment opportunities for Bahamian workers in the tourism and construction industries, increased commerce for local businesses in the Port Lucayan marketplace and beyond.
The government's progress report has been made public, with enhancements being noted in education, the environment, health, the over-the-hill initiative, and land reform. In education, there is said to be an increase in the number of 3 to 4-year-olds enrolled in an approved pre-primary curriculum, increasing access to free tuition for qualifying Bahamian students to attend the University of the Bahamas and the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. The over-the-hill rejuvenation has led to $1 million in concessions, and on the health front, the Minnis administration says it's repaired 9 Family Island clinics and signed a $3.6 million contract for the renovation of the accident and emergency at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Meantime, the coronavirus has elevated to overwhelming proportions globally and continues to spread to a number of U.S. cities, including Florida. However, there remains no cases of the coronavirus here in the Bahamas. Meantime, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is advising the public to monitor regular bulletins and announcements regarding the increasing number of countries and jurisdictions experiencing high risk for exposure for COVID-19. Non-essential travel to these areas are strongly discouraged, and persons who must travel should expect to be routinely screened and tested, and if necessary, quarantined for up to 14 days in those jurisdictions and undergo additional screening to return to the Bahamas. Stay close, we've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Come, taste the islands with Chef Irie.
Food and fire.
Take one colorful Caribbean culinarian. Add all the sweet, spicy, exotic flavors of the islands, and you've got a recipe for a delicious tropical adventure. For mouth-watering Caribbean cuisine that you can try at home, join Chef Irie and his friends as we invite you to taste the island.
Man, sound like your fuel pump gone.
Must say.
You know where you need to go?
Where?
To Glass and Accessory and Parts. Man, I gone. And your door handle gone too?
Does this sound like your car? Well, visit Glass and Accessory and Parts Warehouse, where you'll find a large selection of fuel pumps, door mirrors, door regulators, door handles, AC condensers, and radiators. Auto parts made easy. Located number 27 Abundant Life Road, phone 394-5226.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. The Bahamas Contractors Association is a voice of those in the construction industry in the country, and as you can imagine, that sector has been faced with a number of challenges, especially in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Joining us live here on the Morning Edition to talk about those challenges and to address some of the concerns is President of the BCA, Michael Pratt. Mr. Pratt, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you, LaDawn. It's nice to be here. Morning,
in the House of Assembly, sorry to cut you off, but in the House of Assembly several weeks ago, the minister responsible for disaster preparedness and reconstruction, Iram Lewis, made several announcements about, I guess, us building our homes on stilts. Are you able to talk to us a little bit about that, and what are your recommendations for that?
Sure, I can talk a little about that. You know, when we think stilts, sometimes we think of something that's a little fragile. But what it's referring to, in essence, is pilings, all right? Some people have built their homes on wooden piles, but it's highly recommended that we use the concrete or the steel piles. Those are the ones that are more secure and give you a better foundation for your home. As we build our homes, the strength of our homes is in the foundation. And those piles give you an elevation where your home is now about 9 to 12 feet above the ground level. We must take in consideration, LaDawn, the water action that's coming at us, the wave action, and the wind action. And the higher we go and the stronger we build our homes, the better they are for us.
So do you think that's a good recommendation for us, seeing that we had Hurricane Dorian?
Absolutely it is, and we must take in consideration the location, though. If you're building your home on the waterfront, okay, that's important that you think elevation, because, you know, you have the waves coming in, the wind coming at you, and if you can at least try to minimize one of those, you know, it's better for you in the long run, for your home, for the insurance industry, everything related.
So what do you suggest? What do you recommend?
I recommend that we think about the auger piles. Auger piles is concrete and rebar that is really strong. You know, it could go down as deep as 35 feet. A lot of times we consider the cost of these things, the cost of strengthening our homes. That's important, all right? But at the same time, it's also important not to lose your home or to lose lives. And if this can be done, you know, through the proper installation of these piles. We must also think insulation is important, okay? The quality of the installation is also extremely important. So we must deal with the engineers, proper contractors to install these piles.
And talk to me about, I guess, BCA. Are you guys currently in discussions with the government, I guess, to revise our country's building codes? How are things going with that?
I can say it's going well. We are not actively involved. We are indirectly involved in a lot of areas, being involved in certain organizations that have been in place for years, you know, along with the government, all right, to strengthen our codes. Right now we're dealing with the electrical codes. Like Hurricane Dorian caught us in preparation of addressing a lot of these codes. And it has sped up. It has sped up the discussion now that we must seriously address and make sure that our codes are adequate. There's been a lot of discussion from both sides of the aisle. Some saying they are, some saying they're not. But we find that the important thing is that we must properly address it now because the storms have increased.
How soon do you think that would happen?
This is an ongoing process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's ongoing.
Are there any challenges for the BCA as we go, I guess, as we head into another hurricane season? Is there any challenges for the BCA?
Sure, we have our challenges, but one of the main challenges that we have for the BCA is the regulation of our industry, the construction industry, which is still not properly regulated. Contractors are still not licensed, as a lot of you would know. In order to do this, a bill is being passed from May 2016, and we need to have the board put in place. The image of our industry, and as the image of our industry, as our industry goes, the challenges of the BCA will continue to exist because we fight, we advocate, we educate. We do whatever it takes to make sure that our industry improves.
Is the BCA involved in the small home repairs program that was launched recently, or you guys are not affiliated with that?
Once again, not directly, okay? But our thing is to continue to, we have formed a group called the Bahamas ACE Alliance, Architects, Contractors, and Engineers. We have put a lot of proposals into the government, all right, that will allow us to bring the private element, the private sector, into the reconstruction and rebuilding of our country. So we have offered a lot of training opportunities. We have offered to go there and assist with the inspections and approval of plans to speed up the process. We've put a lot of proposals into government. And this is the engineers, the contractors, and the architects.
What are some of the concerns that, I guess, members of the BCA have been coming to you about, I guess, on a daily basis or as a result of meetings? What have they been saying to you about, I guess, the way forward for the industry?
They've been saying, across the board, we need work. We need to be a part of the process. We need work. So what we have done, we have created I'd like to shout it now. We love them to register their skills in a database. A lot of them come, but nobody is aware that they're there. All right? A lot of them are being relocated. Can you imagine after the storm, they've moved into other islands and they're now waiting on the jobs. If they knew that, the work was available and is being zoned properly, they would probably relocate back to the areas that were, we would consider ground zero. Our concern, though, is that they come in, the NGOs are looking for workers, the government looking for workers, a lot of people, private, are looking for workers, and they're just saying the workers are not there because they can't put their hands right on them. So we have asked a lot of our workers, a lot of our members, and the Bahamians at large, not just the BCA members, to register at the bahamascontractors.org /register your skill. If you can't get onto that, please call me, 376-2131. We'd like to know where you are so we can get you back to ground zero as safely and as quickly as possible.
Michael Pratt, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck to you and the members of the BCA.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. The global epidemic is impacting a number of Chinese businesses locally. Several outlets in the country already feeling the economic squeeze. Many operators reporting a dive in sales and revenue. Local entrepreneur Latrey Ramming is the CEO of Baharin. Now this company connects Bahamian entrepreneurs with Chinese supplies. He says since the global outbreak of the coronavirus, business has been bleak.
But it's the supply chains. Most of the supply chains have been impacted. For example, the company has a scheduled housing project with China Construct State Company. Last week, we've been advised that the government didn't give approval for the importation of module systems to China. I've been advised last night that this approval has been retracted, and so they can export module systems now. There's some industries that still has some supply chain issues, particularly around the Hubei area. So in many instances, it's case by case, and depending on what it is. So we try to tell our clients that we take on their project. We had some project delays. We had some persons who were scheduled to have their goods. Since remember now, it takes about 60 days to get your products into China. So persons trying to get their products into the summer period have a very small window.
Now, as an entrepreneur, Ramming shares his views on the way forward for local trade with China in the wake of the coronavirus.
I think there should be a focus on what kind of economic mitigations could happen. I saw how we could shore up the Bahamian economy, especially this has impacted two areas, travel and trade. And for the Bahamas, travel is a huge bulk of our economy. From a major trading hub, I wouldn't concern ourselves too much, particularly with the Chinese market, considering because it's more of there's a huge importation of supplies. However, the bulk of the economy is the tourism market, particularly in North America and Europe.
It's not impossible to cut costs on electricity, but there are a number of things consumers can do to reduce the amount of energy they use. Crystal Darling shares these tips.
You would never go to work and turn your tap on and leave that tap running all day long. But we do this with energy.
And that's precisely why it's important to save energy and, by the same token, a few coins in your pocketbook. At least that's the focus of an ongoing power-saving initiative the Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, along with the Inter-American Development Bank, is behind. Here's Chamber CEO Jeffrey Beckles.
Our over-reliance on the power company to generate savings for us is not enough to get it done. We have to learn how to manage our energy use, manage our homes, manage our lives better and more efficiently. And what the videos intend to do is to provide a basic education to the average person. Here's how you can save money. So the idea is to help change the narrative. By changing the narrative, we help to change people's minds and their approaches to how we live and to live more efficiently.
And a series of short PSAs geared at educating the public on different energy-saving methods is a major part of the initiative. Chamber Director of Energy and Environment, Deborah Deal, weighs in.
We now have the 12 videos, and we showed them to IDB about 3 weeks ago. So now we have permission from them to go ahead and distribute them everywhere.
Deal reasons that the average electricity bill can be significantly decreased simply by adhering to the instructions in the PSAs.
I'm not saying run around with a candle. I'm just saying there's so many things that are ghost thieves that are stealing your energy, right? So reduce your energy consumption so that you're also ready for alternative energy. Even if they do the one which is the ghost thieves, which are things that it doesn't cost you any money to do, it's just using your home efficiently, you can reduce your cost anywhere from 20 to 30% at a minimum. If you change your light bulbs, again, it's generally about 30 to 50%.
And this year, they're focused on getting the message out to as many people as possible.
Our energy costs are still high, and we really have to do this ourselves. Private sector has to drive this. So that is our goal this year, is to get the videos in as many places as we possibly can. We really wanted every single age to be able to look at these and say, oh, this is great, I could use this, right? And you could use them in Sunday school. You could use them, the science teachers at all of the schools could actually show these, because they learn about energy, I think, in high school, right? So we didn't want to eliminate any audience whatsoever.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
As the discussion continues on the use of solar power, an expo was mounted to share how you can benefit from the use of this form of energy. Here's Priscilla Forbes.
Solar power is increasingly becoming the favorable alternative energy source globally. From its endless accessibility, reduction in pollution, lower electricity bills, and low maintenance cost. That's why on Saturday, Renewable Alternative Energy Home Business Solutions held a solar power expo to showcase solar panels, solar-powered cars, lights, and generators to the public. President of Home Business Solutions, Eric Darling, says given our climate, solar power in the Bahamas is a no-brainer.
The Bahamas supposed to already be in 100% solar. Is wondering what took them so long. Number one, we have 300 days of sun literally out the year. Two, it's good for the environment. It's clean. Three, it's duty-free, and it's cheap. Solar costs less than 29 cents a watt. So the average person could bring in a complete solar system as cheap as $3,000, and of course have it installed less than $1,000.
Darling explains how to choose the right solar panel for your home.
So if you ever look at your light bill, the bottom left-hand corner, it have a rough chart of your average daily or monthly kilowatt usage. So a person can look and see that, hey, I average about 10 kilowatt hours per day, maybe with 300 kilowatt hour per month. That will let us know that, hey, this person in the category of a 3K solar system.
Both Darling and program strategist Karen Moss Timothy say the Bahamas has the ability to become fully solar powered.
Moving forward, I feel the Bahamas could be almost 99% green, just running off renewable energy. And if you do the comparison, in California, they have a city there with running on 250 megawatts, which is the comparison of consumption with BPL running right here in Nassau. So it's possible.
The aim here is to make solar so affordable that each home can have it, because ultimately this is what we will have to look at. And we've got a lot of the natural resources here. We have the potential to not only be a leader in the region for it, but also be a part of that shift that makes a major impact to the debate of climate change.
I'm Paisala Forbes, ZNS Network News.
And we're taking you behind the scenes of a special unit in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, so keep it locked.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed luck.
It's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Buddy Hield and the Kings have their...
Buddy Hield seemed to be having the best season of his career. He had 32 points the other night. It was a bit disappointing, Shawnee Miller not winning the IWF World Female Athlete of the Year. The high school rankings will soon be out. Tabernacle, the defending champion, CC Sweeting, they are always there. Who will it be this year? Each Monday on 1540 AM and 104.5 FM, it's the OT with yours truly, Charles Fisher.
Across the entire span of the Bahamas, there is a strategic spread of national parks, which play a vital role in protecting the survival and well-being of diverse wildlife, as well as Bahamian livelihoods. The Andros Westside National Park, for instance, consists of thriving bonefish populations, the healthiest stands of red mangroves found in the Bahamas, breeding and nursery areas that support wildlife such as snappers, groupers, lobsters, and threatened and endangered species like marine turtles, the Andros rock iguana, and the flamingo.
If we do not effectively safeguard our natural treasures, vital habitats, which include nursery and breeding areas, will become vulnerable to a number of threats impacting the way we live. We must remember to do our part to maintain the integrity of the natural environment. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
Say no.
Say no to violence against women.
It is only together as women and as men that we can stop violence against women. The Zonta Club of New Providence wishes to start the conversation and to encourage you to take action.
Many people grew up in households of violence. They watched their mothers do it, they watched their fathers do it, and they too were victims of violence. I was a victim of violence. I got help. You can get help too.
Say no to violence against women. If you are the victim of violence, know that there is help available for you. If you are the perpetrator, know that it is not too late to change. Recognize the signs in others and yourself.
These include physical abuse, abusive language, and unhealthy behavior, financial abuse, and taking away privileges.
We need to have this conversation.
Say no to violence against women.
It's Police Police Month, and the Morning Edition team will be taking you behind the scenes, featuring the work that you don't usually get to see of our dedicated and hardworking officers. This morning, we give you an inside look on the day-to-day operations of the Force's Air Wing. Take a look. For 10 years, this Cessna Caravan aircraft 208B has been taxiing the runway at the Lynden Pindling International Airport. The aircraft, operated by 8 exceptional and experienced police officers, transports government officials, international dignitaries, and suspects 5 days a week. One of them is Corporal Desiree Bodie, the first female pilot on the force. She says her experience working in a male-dominating field has been quite rewarding.
Just being a part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is an awesome opportunity, and to be able to be a part of the Air Support Services is also a tremendous experience. Being able to fly with the Air Support Service in this 2008, say 208B Caravan, it's been an awesome experience, especially flying into the Bahamas.
But with experience comes a whole lot of training. Captain Larry Brown says learning new techniques and ways to maneuver the plane in adverse situations requires a lot of skills.
We train every 6 months. We send our officers to Wichita, Kansas, Flight Safety, one of the premier training institutions in the world. It's a full motion simulator that the officers get the opportunity to train in, and it puts them through the rigors of all the possible emergencies that can take place in this aircraft. So when these officers are out flying this actual plane, they're trained to the highest standards and are very equipped to handle any type of emergency that may arise.
But there's more. Assistant Superintendent Elvis Curtis is the officer in charge of the Air Support Services Unit. But what you may not know is that Curtis is a pilot and an engineer who ensures that the aircraft is properly fueled up and ready for takeoff.
The aircraft is maintained on hourly cycles and calendar events. We try to do most preventative maintenance to reduce the downtime on the aircraft. It provides us to be up and ready at a moment's notice, so we always ready to go. So on a daily basis, I'll come out with 2 of the pilots, and I'll make some checks of the aircraft to ensure that if they call, we are ready to perform our task.
And speaking of Police Month, members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force began the week of activities promoting literacy in our public schools. On Monday, teams of officers from communities across this country read books to the students and brought encouraging words on the role of the police and how to be safe on and off campus. The Royal Bahamas Police Force is celebrating 180 years of unparalleled commitment and service to this country. Today, they will host a mini tattoo and media day in the Bain and Grandstown community. And now to this local initiative, residents within the Pinewood Gardens community coming together to address the chronic flooding issue that has plagued that area for decades. The individuals will mount a coin drive this Saturday at the Isaiah Taylor Park. Monies would go towards purchasing a water truck, which will help to alleviate the flooding. The initiative is being spearheaded by community leader Jared Darville, who says the idea followed an extensive needs assessment exercise.
The Coin Drive is a community initiative that we based off of a community assessment survey that we've done inside the area. And in the area, flooding has been one of the most prevalent issues that has affected the majority of people in Pinewood. And at this time, we figured what would be the best step to move forward to eliminate or alleviate the flooding issues. We came together and we said that the perfect idea for a temporary solution would be a water truck, because the main solution, the main problem was to be able to put a jetty system inside Pinewood, which would be able to have submersible pumps and be able to suck the water out and put into reservoirs using a pump system.
Now, that truck will help to reroute water that settles in the community after heavy rainfalls. The Coin Drive began last week, and Darville says the support has already been overwhelming. He says the group hopes to raise $120,000 for the initiative. He's now appealing to the corporate community and the general public for support.
Next is next week, Saturday. We're going out again. That would be the 7th of March. We'll be going out again, and we'll be trying to solicit more funds. And we want to continue to do this, as well as different strategies, going door to door in the neighborhoods, asking persons, because we understand persons, not everybody is on social media, not everybody watches the news. So we want to be able to go door to door, and we want to be able to go to all of the corporate companies inside Pinewood, firstly, because we want this initiative to be based from Pinewood, and then we would go outwards to the other communities to ask for support.
Now to the high seas, where you can cruise on a luxurious yacht, while dining and celebrating any event you can imagine. For that, we share with you the sights and sounds from the Boat and Charter Show, which attracted some 23 yachts in the local port.
Yachting in the Bahamas in the last 4 or 5 years has really seen a major increase, especially in the large boat market on vessels above 100 feet. And those vessels are big in the charter industry. And we saw a nice upsurge when Hurricane Matthew had done damage into the Southern Caribbean. A lot of boats for the first time started chartering here in the Bahamas 2 or 3 years ago. And so our charter market has really, really grown in the last 2 years. Now this past year, obviously with Hurricane Dorian, though it only hit 2 of our northern islands, there was perspective throughout the world that most of the Bahamas had been hit. So we have set out on a mission, the Association of the Bahamas Marinas, along with the Ministry of Tourism, to spread the message that the Bahamas is open and that 95% of our islands were unaffected by that storm.
On a day charter, it's around $6,000 for a day, and that's total everything. There's no additional for food or drinks or anything like that. And then if you, depending on how long you wanted to go, up to about $25,000 for a week-long charter. And that takes care of all the cooking, all the fuel, everything, and up to 6 passengers on an overnight charter, and up to 12 passengers on a day charter.
It's good. It's a lot of fun for all of us involved. I mean, everything's themed. So our theme is Bohemian Wedding. So I've been the groom the entire week. So yeah, it's been fun and entertaining for everyone involved. Connecting with other people in the industry, getting to meet the other side of the industry, the brokers, getting to know them a little better. They're sending us all their business, and it's nice just to see the face behind the emails.
The trickle-down effect would be felt and seen in our family island communities, our islands, where there are beautiful marinas. Of course, you have the most intriguing waters, of course, anywhere in the world. So this entire yacht show, again, reaffirms our message at Ministry of Tourism and Aviation that the Bahamas is certainly still open for business, and we're still walking, I believe, 3 years, maybe 5 years from now, that this will be the premier yachting event, I believe, anywhere in the Caribbean, and certainly will rival those yacht shows around the world.
A good initiative there, Fisher. What's coming up in sports?
Robinson Crusoe, that's your new name. I see you were flying high yesterday, but you didn't get in the plane. You didn't want your ear to blow.
They told me I couldn't go up in the air, so it was a bit windy up there.
So what is your adventure today with the police?
Well, we'll be going behind the scenes at CDU, and we'll be doing some fingerprinting. I think some of you need to go there to get your fingers printed for a number of crimes you've committed over the years.
I can leave it right there. The door to get me this morning.
We got him this morning. What's coming up in sports?
Coming up in sports, we got a bounce with the New Providence Basketball Association. Their season tipped off yesterday, and then the coronavirus is really affecting a lot of our athletes overseas. They're not getting to the meets. We'll be checking in with a few of them as well.
Okay, all of that and more ahead in sports. We got him, folks. We got him.
The Dixon Hill Lighthouse in San Salvador to let you know that marine protected areas make dollars and cents. A well-designed and managed network of protected areas can generate income for nearby communities. From MPA managers to lodges to eco-tours, there is money to be made.
Healthy marine ecosystems help to protect our islands from climate change and other impacts that we cannot control. Healthy coral reefs help to break down fake waves, and mangroves absorb storm surge and help to protect our coastline.
Older and larger fish tend to carry more and healthier eggs than younger fish. Fish replenishment areas will allow fish to grow bigger and ensure that we have more fish now and in the future.
In our replenishment area, fish are free to grow and reproduce. As their populations increase, more fish will spill over into other areas where fishermen can increase their catch and their income.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island, and you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too.
See the future with Bahamas Protected.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cove, and for many years, I've taken pride in introducing young Bahamians and international visitors to the wonders of our Bahamian underwater world. Our marine ecosystem helps to keep our tourism industry and fisheries sector healthy and lucrative. We must all do our part in protecting it for future generations. And that is why I ensure our staff and customers are taught about the importance of coral reefs. I do this and more to protect our underwater life because I care. Do you?
Good morning once again, everybody. The New Providence Basketball Association tipping off their first round playoffs last night at the AF Alley Gym. The Commonwealth Bank Giants ran through the regular season a perfect 15-0, so don't expect them to lose their opener to the Island Dimension and Development Wolverines. Well, they tamed the Wolverines from the jump ball 27-17 after one, then pushed that lead to 57-26 at the half. They didn't take their foot off the brakes in the second half as they were up by as many as 20 after three, and they cruised to a 94-59 Game 1 win. Michael Furley-Bain leading all scorers with 24. For the Wolverines, Selwyn McKinsey had 14.
I guess these guys wasn't ready to play, and we came out ready, so we jumped out on them real quick and never looked back. We just wanted to stay sharp. We got out there early lead. We didn't want to start losing focus and pick up bad habits, so we just wanted to stay sharp on defense and rebound and come up with the win.
Well, what happened, the guys getting in a little late, so what we have to do is come in early, prepare for next game, and they're the defending champions for a reason, so we got to owe them that respect and just come out and fight hard.
Meantime, some of our pro ball players unable to take it to the hardwood over the weekend due to the coronavirus. Kadeem Colby, Gio Bain, and Markson Ford all playing in Japan, while Dwight Colby is in Italy. Both of those countries taking extreme measures against the virus, cancelling all games. Dwight and Dynamo Cesare have a game scheduled for tomorrow in the European Championship League, while play in Japan is being postponed until March 14th. Now that he is the five-time champion, winner of 8, David Slater can lay claim to the best male bowler in the country. So what's next for him after beating up on the competition on home lanes?
I'm going to Florida in April to bowl a PBA 50 tournament. So the Professional Bowlers Association, they've got a tour for 50 and over people, you know. So it'll be nice to bowl against some of my peers at the professional level. That's going to be in Florida. My objective there is to cash. I think the top 50 spots cash. So it's going to be very stiff competition. These will be the guys, when I go over there, I want their autographs, you know. But it'd be nice to beat a few of them, you know, and maybe, who knows, maybe the end of it, say, hey, do you want my autograph? That'd be kind of cool, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. Then later in the year, we've got PABCON Seniors in Colombia. And then there's the World Cup trials that'll be coming up, and then the World Cup in Kuwait, sorry. So those are the main tournaments I'm looking forward to.
The University of Bahamas Mingos in action over the weekend. The Bahamas Men's Soccer League taking on United. The Mingos had some good looks throughout the match, but just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. United, on the other hand, scored every early, connecting in the 3rd minute, and they took that 1-0 lead into the half. 11 minutes into the 2nd half, United struck again to double their advantage, and that was more than enough against a Mingo side which had at least a dozen shots on goal and couldn't connect. UB falls 2-0, and they're the only winless team left at 0-5. United finally out of the cellar, getting their first victory, improving to 1-4.
We couldn't finish today. Like always, we need that number 9 who can really score, and we having problems from the last 4 games, trying to finish and putting the ball behind the net, and that's our biggest problem. We had a lot of chances and opportunities that we had in the first half and second half, but like I said again, we just having that problem finishing. One way we could fix that is practice, and maybe if we get a win, that probably help them with their courage, give them courage. But fixing it is not really. We just need somebody just to score, and I think confidence. That's all they need: confidence and believe in themselves, and that they can do it.
Now, scanning the internet right before I came on, said the IOC is meeting at this hour in Switzerland to the executive meeting where the Olympics and the coronavirus is of major concern. Officials from the International Olympic Committee and the Tokyo 2020 have repeatedly stressed the games will go ahead as planned despite the outbreak of the virus, officially known as COVID-19. The Tokyo Olympics could be postponed until the end of 2020 in a bid to halt the spread of the coronavirus. Olympic Minister Seiko has told lawmakers that Japan's agreement with the IOC potentially allows them to delay the games taking place. In our test events for the Olympic Games have been cancelled amid the outbreak in Japan, so we'll continue to follow this very important meeting going on right now in Switzerland with the IOC and Tokyo officials as to what to do with the Olympic Games, which is just a little over 2 months away. That's going to do it for sports on a Tuesday morning. Basil is coming right back to let you know about weather all over.
Megan Shepherd, and let's get cooking.
Check out this new segment with a new taste, Munching with Megan, right here on the ZNS Television Network.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, hosts Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
I can say that Cardi has been a blessing for the agriculture industry here in the Bahamas. I was introduced to Cardi 2 years ago, studying at BAMSI. Dr. Michelle Singh, she was our livestock production instructor, and she also taught us a portion of our post-harvest management. And Dr. Singh brought to the classroom, she brought those international and, you know, those ideas that to think outside of the box, not just think with your vision or scope that you see in front of you, but think about other things in agriculture and other ways you could expand your product and get into the market. So, and I believe that's what's needed here inside the Bahamas. Someone who, with that technical support and hands-on, where you're able to, make one phone call and you're able to reach Cardi. And a lot of times when I talk to farmers here inside the Bahamas, a lot of them is, you know, yeah man, it's that I used to do courses and I used to deal with Cardi and this and everybody deals with Cardi and, you know, it's like, you know, and then when you look at food security and biosecurity, when you have that international and that Caribbean community backing you with your efforts as a farmer here inside the Bahamas, and you know what I mean, I believe like, you know, that could go a long way. So it's been a blessing, and you know, Cardi is here to stay.
Welcome to the best of sports world. Tonight.
In our final look at weather, we had that area of high pressure across the Bahamas since the weekend, producing some moderate to fresh breezes. It will continue again today, but we expect those winds to start relaxing by tomorrow afternoon. And that's because we have this front boundary, which is now approaching the Gulf states of the United States, that will slowly work its way towards the southeast and will get into the northwest Bahamas on Friday morning. So we will see an increase in cloudiness Friday morning with some showers developing along the front boundary. But once that front goes through, we'll see a nice cool down, which will hold right through the weekend. Will not be as cold as it was last weekend, but certainly you'll notice the difference in temperatures on Saturday. Today, we are going in for partly sunny, warmer conditions with a moderate breeze in place, a high temperature getting up to 82 degrees, and your temperatures will trend like this. Right now, we should be approaching about 72 degrees. That will gradually climb and peaking out at 82 degrees around 1 o'clock this afternoon before it starts taking a dive in the afternoon. And as we go into tonight, pretty nice night shaping up with a bit more clouds than it has been in previous nights. Partly cloudy, the low temperature getting down to 65 degrees. Last night it got down to a cool 63 degrees, by the way. And your extended weather forecasts are unfolding like this. Lots of sunshine during the daytime, but the winds will pick up on the weekend. Once that front boundary goes through, we will see winds gusting up to gale force at times. So certainly if you're into boating, this is not the weekend for you to be out on the waters. We expect winds around 20 to 25 knots. They will be gusting up to 35 knots at time, and that will continue right into the early part of next week. You will see on Monday there about those winds will start dying down a bit with 1 or 2 stray showers developing in our forecast. But temperature-wise, it's going to be very cool on the weekend with your daytime temperatures in the mid-70s, and during the nighttime, they're going to be in the low 60s.
Thanks a lot, Basil. And just before we go, we'd like to send out a very special happy birthday to one of our loyal viewers, Veronique, celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday, Veronique. And that does it for us this morning. For the entire Morning Edition team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.